So let us start now the spiritual and material universes. So we will first check out the Bhagavad Gita, what Bhagavad Gita says about Krishna, and Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. So here is an indication for the spiritual universe. परस्तास्मात् तु भावन्यो व्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यासा सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So Krishna is telling that whatever we are seeing in this material world, like this world, the planet Earth, whatever we are observing, so there is yet another unmanifest nature. Unmanifest means which we cannot see with our all the senses. So that is unmanifested for us. But that is eternal and transcendental. But this nature, what we can see, is actually not eternal. And it has destruction and it goes through all the changes. So, like this, in this material world, this is the rule that everything has birth and death. Everything has creation and destruction. So, similarly, the whole material world, at one point of time, it was created and it will be destroyed. So periodically it is created and destroyed. But the unmanifested abode, which is the abode of Krishna, is actually eternal. So like we have the personal, the abodes or the personal accommodations for prime minister and president of a country. So similarly, Krishna, being the owner of the whole cosmic manifestation, he has his own abode, that is Golaka Vrindavan, spiritual world, or Vaikuntha. So Krishna is telling about, hinting about that abode, Parastasmatu Bhavanyu, yet there is another unmanifest nature. In another verse, Bhagavad Gita 15.6, Krishna is telling, Natad bhasayate suryo na sasankana pavaka jat katva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. So Krishna is describing his own abode. So this is self-effulgent. So in this material world, what we can see, it is by default dark. In the daytime, we have sun. That is why due to the sunlight, everything is illuminated. And in the night time, after sunset, we have electric bulb, or maybe in the village side, they illuminate with the help of fire, different kinds of diyas and candles like that. So this is the nature of Krishna's abode, that there is no requirement of sun, moon, and fire and electricity. It is self-effulgent. So in this picture, you can see the bodily effulgence of Krishna. In the last presentation, Antari Prabhu discussed about that. Just a minute. So in the spiritual world, everything is self-effulgent. As we can see, the bodily effulgence which is coming out of Krishna's body, it is sufficient to illuminate everything. And similarly, in this spiritual world, not only the light is coming from Krishna's body, but from every object. Every object there is self-effulgent. There is no requirement of any additional light. But this material world is, by default, this material world is dark. So we require sun, moon, fire, and electricity. Now Krishna is telling that Mamaivamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So now, if Krishna has such a beautiful abode, such a self-effulgent abode, such a eternal abode, then why we have come here? We are children of God, right? So Krishna is also telling, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke, Mamaiva Amsho, means my fragmental parts. That means we are children of God. So generally the child lives with the father. So that is actually our real home. Krishna's abode is our real home. This is the abode of our father. Then what are we doing here in this material world? How did we come here? So the thing is that when we want to enjoy independently from Krishna and we become envious of Krishna, then we come to this material world, which is like a prison house. So we have to come in this material world to, and we suffer here, and we understand that I cannot enjoy independently because I am eternal fragmental parts of Krishna. So I can only be happy if I am with Krishna. Apart from Krishna, I cannot be happy. So in this material world, what is this material world in summary? This is the endeavor of a living entity to become happy independent of Krishna. But in spite of all our efforts, we are actually frustrated, right? So that is the purpose of this material world, to make us frustrated in our attempts that we we are frustrated repeatedly in this material world that we cannot be happy without Krishna. Then a living entity who is intelligent, he surrenders to Krishna. So here Krishna is telling that only, that due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So we have five senses. Here are the five senses: ear, nose, eyes, nose, ears, skin, and tongue. And including the mind, we have total six senses. So they are struggling very hard. The living entities, they are struggling in the material world, because this material world is dukhalaya masashvatam. This is a place full of misery. But still we are having the desire for independent enjoyment. That is why we came here. So now this is a beautiful analogy which explains the struggle of a living entity in this material world. So this is a chariot, and this chariot is compared to the body, and the passenger is the soul, and these five horses which is driving the chariot are our five senses, and the ropes which uh, which are connecting the horses is actually our mind, these ropes, and the chariot driver is our intelligence. So if the senses are uncontrolled or the horses are uncontrolled, then the chariot will move to a wrong destination. What is our destination? To go back to this spiritual world or go back to Krishna. Then only we can be happy. Like a fish cannot be happy without water, similarly a spirit soul cannot be happy without Krishna. So what we are trying to satisfy the senses in this material world, but we are not this body, we are spirit soul. So to make the spirit soul happy, we have to be connected to Krishna. But if the senses are uncontrolled, the body chariot will go to a wrong destination. So soul will actually face the difficulty. So if the chariot driver is very strong and he can actually control the horses or the senses, then actually smoothly we can reach our actual destination, or we can be actually happy. So this is the thing. Now how can we make this chariot driver strong? So this chariot driver is actually represented by our intelligence. So by studying the scriptures, we can strengthen our intelligence, and then we can control our mind or the ropes, and then the senses will be controlled. So this is the hierarchy. So this is our struggle in the material world. If we follow the advice of Krishna by studying the scriptures, then our senses will be controlled, mind will be controlled, and we can reach the right destination, or we can be happy. So now descriptions of the spiritual world comes in Brahma Samhita 5.29. चिंतामणि प्रकर्षद्म शुकल्प वृक्षं लक्षावृतेषु शुरवीर विपालयन्तं लक्ष्मी सहस्र शत संभ्रम सेव्यमानं गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desire, in abodes built with spiritual gems, surrounded by millions of purpose trees, always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis or Gopis. So in the spiritual world, there is Chintamani. Like in this world, what we see, the soil is made up of sand and clay. But in the spiritual world, the bhumi or the soil is made up of Chintamani stone. What is the speciality of Chintamani stone? It can fulfill all our desires. And it is a very precious stone or gem. That is why it is told spiritual gem. So the soil is made up of spiritual gems or Chintamani, which can fulfill all our desires. Sadmasu Kalpa Vriksha. Kalpa Vriksha means desire tree or purpose tree. In this material world, a mango tree can only give us mango. But in spiritual world, the Kalpa Vrikshas or desire trees can give us anything. One tree can give us anything, any fruit and any other thing also. And Laksha Vritesu Suravi Ravi Palayantam. And there is millions of Suravi cows. And what is the specialty of Suravi cows? They give abundance of milk. And Lakshmi Sahasra Satasambrahma Sebhyamanam. And Krishna is served by millions of Lakshmis, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis. Sahasra Sata, hundreds and thousands. So that is the abode of the Supreme Lord Govinda. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So such a beautiful place is the abode of the Supreme Lord. Like in this material world also, we see that the president or the prime minister is enjoying very wonderful facilities. So what to speak about the Supreme Personality, the president of the whole creation. So this is natural. But all these facilities, we cannot perceive all these facilities in this material world. Why? Material world is just like a prison house. We are the criminals who did not abide by the principles of God, and we are envious of Krishna. That is why we came here. So the prison house will not have so much facility, right? There will be so much misery. So that we are facing. But in the spiritual world, the original abode of the Supreme Lord, there is all these facilities up to fullest extent. So that world is not restricted by anything. Further description comes in Brahma Samhita. Shriya Kanta Kanta Parama Purusha Kalpataravo Druma Bhumis Chinta Mani Ganamayi Toyam Amritam Katha Ganam Natyam Gamanamapi Bamshi Priya Shakhi Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapi Tadaswadamapi Cham Sajatra Shirabdihi Shavati Surabhibhyascha Sumahan Nimeshardhakyo Babrajati Nahi Jatrapi Shamayam भजे श्वेता दीपम तमहमिह गोलोकमितियं विदन्तस्ते शान्तश्रुति विरलचारः कतिपये. So the description is coming like, I worship that transcendental seat known as Svetadip, Bhaje Sweta Deepam, where as loving consorts of the Lakshmis in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover. So this is actually Shriya Kanta Kanta. So Kanta means Lakshmi and Kanta means the husband of the Lakshmi or Krishna or Lord Vishnu. So that is described here that the Lakshmis are serving Krishna or Vishnu, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, right? Kalpataravo Druma, all the Druma or all the trees are Kalpataravo, where the soil is the purpose gem, Bhumis Chintamani, and all water is nectar, Ganamai Toyam Amritam. Bhumis Chintamani Ganamai and Toyam means water, is Amritam or nectar. Every word is a song, Katha Ganam. Every gate is a dance, Natyam Gamanam. The flute is the favorite attendant, Apibamshi Priyasakhi. Flute is the constant companion of Krishna. Effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Chidanandam Jyoti Paramapi Tadaswadam Apicha. where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk. Shajatra Shirabdihi Sravati Suravibhyasya Sumahan. So these Suravi cows can provide so much milk, then they can create ocean of milk. Like their milk supply is unlimited. I already told that in this material world we have the conservation of mass, conservation of energy, because there will be not so much facility in the prison house. But in the spiritual world, Lord has allowed unlimited. Lord has decorated the spiritual world with unlimited potency. That is why the milk coming from the Suravi cows is also unlimited. Nimesardhakyo ba na brajati na hi jatrapi shamaya. So, in the spiritual world, there is the eternal existence of transcendental time. Like in this material world, we now the time is 5:55. After some time, it will be 6. After some time, 6:30. So there is concept of time, and there is years and months. And after a certain period of time, we become old, and after a certain amount of time, we actually die. So this is the effect of time. Everything changes with time. But in the spiritual world, there is no concept of time. So the spiritual world is beyond the time. That is why it is eternal and evergreen place. Nobody suffers from birth, old age, disease, death. Everybody is there evergreen. In the spiritual world, the age of Krishna is always 16. So in the material world also, when Krishna appears, he always appears in his transcendental body, which is made of Sachidananda. So Krishna lived in this material world for 125 years, but always he seemed to be like a 16-year-old boy. So this is the speciality of the spiritual world and the transcendental spiritual body, who is ever present and without past or future. So there is no past, no future. This is eternal in the spiritual world. Hence is not subject to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. So there is no question of time pass. Time does not pass there. Time is there eternal. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. So you can understand this concept of eternity like in the JEE mathematics we read limit continuity. So like that. So we have a conception of time and a speed of time. Then if we move to the time frame of the demigods, then 360 days in earth is actually 1 day for the demigods. Then if you move to the time frame of Brahma, then 43 lakh 20,000 years. This is the duration of one Dibya Yuga, and 1000 Dibya Yugas means 12 hours of Brahma. So 43 lakh 20,000 into 1000 years is actually 12 hours for Brahma. So this is for Brahma, the time has become more slower. If you further move to Mahavishnu, then 100 years for Brahma is one breath of Mahavishnu, one inhalation and exhalation, right? For one exhalation of Mahavishnu is equal to the 100 years of Brahma, that is in earthly calculation comes around 311 trillion years. 311 into 10 to the power 12 years is one exhalation of Mahavishnu. So the speed of time is gradually becoming tends to 0. And in the spiritual world or Goloka Vrindavan, this is actually 0. So that is the realm known as Goloka only, and that is known only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. Shiti Virala Charaha Katipaye. So this is the nature of the spiritual world. Everything is unlimited there, and all facilities are there. Like a citizen, good citizen, he actually enjoys all the facilities in his home. But if someone commits some criminal activity, then he must go to the prison house, and there he suffers from various miseries. So like we are suffering in the material world, everything is restricted and there are so much misery. But in spiritual world, no restriction, no misery. So now let us briefly discuss about the universal creation, how it was, how whole creation was created, and let us dive deep. In Brahma Samhita there is a verse, Goloka namne nijathamni tale chatasya devi mahesha haridhamashu teshu teshu tete prabhava nichaya vihitasya yena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Lowest of all is located Devi Dham. So this is Devi Dham, or the material world. So this is a representation of the whole cosmic creation. So the highest abode is of Krishna, that is Goloka Vrindavan. Then comes Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu. Then comes Kailas, the abode of Lord Shiva. Then Brahmajyoti, or the boundary between material and spiritual world. And then this material world is known as Devi Dham, or Durga Devi is the superintendent of this material world, which is like a prison house. So lowest of all is located Devi Dham, or the Mandal world. So we are in the Devi Dham. Next above it is Mahesh Dham, abode of the Mahesh or Kailas. And then above Mahesh Dham is placed Hari Dham or Vaikuntha, abode of Hari. And above all is located Krishna's own realm named as Goloka. So this is Goloka Vrindavan. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, who has allotted their respective authorities to the rulers of the graded realms. So there are so many realms like Devi, Mahesha, Haridham, Ashuteshu, Teshu. So who has appointed the authorities of these regions? That is Govinda or Krishna only. Krishna, as the owner of the whole cosmic creation, has allotted that this place is for Lord Shiva, this is for Durga Devi. So this is the thing. So this Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha, the abode of Vishnu and abode of Krishna, is known as spiritual world. And there is Brahmajyoti, which is dividing the spiritual and the material world. And Brahmajyoti is nothing but the bodily effulgence of Krishna. So in the bodily effulgence of Krishna, the spiritual planets are also floating, and the material universe is a tiny part of the whole cosmic creation. So now let us understand the nature of the material world, how it is created and what. So who comes to this material world? So material world is like a prison house. So the prison house is for whom? The criminals. The souls who do not abide by the laws of Krishna, they actually come to this material world. So Krishna expands himself as Mahavishnu, and he actually takes all the rebellious souls and puts them into the material world and gives them some kind of opportunity to enjoy independently. But there is also misery, so that the living entity can understand that this material world is not for me. I must go to the spiritual world, which is my actual home. So now the material universe, how it is created. So this is Mahavishnu. In the previous picture, if you see, this is Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu is taking all the souls, and Mahavishnu is lying down in the Karana ocean or Viraja river. So that is why another name for Mahavishnu is Karano Dakashai Vishnu. Mahavishnu is lying in the Karana Sagar, and he is creating these millions of universes. All the millions of universes, like this is one universe, is zoomed here. There are millions of other universes also. All of them are coming from the body of Mahavishnu. So in this picture, you can see this is Mahavishnu, and one universe is shown over here. And there are several other universes. This is one, this is one, this universe is one, this is one universe, this one. So there are many universes, millions of universes which are emanating from the body of Mahavishnu. So let us analyze one universe. So in this universe, we have 14 planetary systems, which is popularly known as Chaudda Bhuvan, 14 planetary systems. So we are here in this Bhubarloka. Sorry, we are in this Bhuloka. So there are 14 planetary systems. The middle one is known as Bhuloka, and Earth belongs to this one, this planetary system. And above this Bhuloka, there are 6 planetary systems or higher planetary systems known as Bhubarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. And there are 7 lower planetary systems also: Atala, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal. So these are actually 14 planetary systems. So now, in this 14 planetary system, we are in the middle, earthly planetary system. And if somebody accumulates pious credit, then he goes to the higher planetary system, enjoys there for some time and comes back to middle planetary system. And if someone commits sinful activities, then he goes down to Patal and Narak, and then again come to the earthly planetary system or the Bhuloka. So this whole material universe is like a prison house, and Durga Devi is the prisoner or the superintendent of that prison. So Durga Devi is holding one trident, and Durga Devi is killing Mahishasur. So who is an Asura? Asura is one who does not follow the laws of God. So in one sense, those who have come into this material world, everyone is Asura, because they have violated the laws of God. So that is why in symbolic manner Durga Devi is killing Mahishasur, but actually the Mahishasur is representative of all of us. We are all Asuras. Unless we take to the devotional service of the Lord, we are Asuras. And Durga Devi with her trident is punishing us. And the three spikes of the trident, it actually means Adi Atmic Klesh, Adi Bhautik Klesh, and Adi Daivik Klesh. So Adi Atmic Klesh means the misery is due to one's own body and mind. Like I have diseases in my body, and then mental depression. And then Adi Bhautik Klesh means you are okay, but other living entities are tormenting you. Like mosquito is biting, okay, and like coronavirus is giving you problem. So like that. So this is Adi Bhautik Klesh. And then Adi Daivik Klesh means natural calamities like flood and there are drought. So all these things, natural calamities, are counted as Adi Daivik Klesha. And along with that, birth, old age, disease, death, these are the problems in this material world. So Durga Devi is punishing all of us and making us realize that please chant the holy names of the God, or please take shelter of the Supreme Lord, and you go back to your original home, which is the abode of Krishna or Golok Vrindavan. So Krishna is telling in Bhagavad Gita, Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam saswatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So if we attain Krishna by our practice of devotional service, then we don't have to come back to this material world. Otherwise, we have to come back again and again, and we have to be born and we have to be dead in the repeated cycle of birth and death according to our karma. So to become free from our karma and to go back to permanently to the spiritual world, we have to attain Krishna, and that is only possible by the execution of devotional service. So now this material universe is made. It is created from Mahavishnu. Then Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and he enters into this universe. And there is Garbhodaka ocean, and Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is lying on the Garbhodaka ocean. And from the lotus flower, which is coming out of the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Lord Brahma is created. And then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu is providing Lord Brahma the ingredients of the material creation and also the knowledge how to create this material world. Then Brahma, using the ingredients and knowledge given by Vishnu, is actually constructing all these 14 planetary systems. So that is why Brahma is called the creator, but he is the secondary creator. The primary creator is Vishnu. So after creation also, it cannot run independently. Anything to run, it requires the help of Vishnu. So Mahavishnu created the universes, but to make the universe flourish, Mahavishnu entered each of the universes, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and he created Brahma, gave him the ingredients, gave him the knowledge. Then Brahma created the 14 planetary systems. And then Garbhodakashayi Vishnu expanding himself to Kshirodakashayi Vishnu. And Kshirodakashayi Vishnu is present in all the atoms and interatomic spaces also. Like in inside the atom, there are electron, proton, and neutron. The nucleus and electron is rotating. So I asked one of my chemistry professors in IIT that okay, so we know that according to the theory of electromagnetic radiation, if a charged particle is moving with acceleration, it must radiate some energy. So now electron is rotating, electron is negatively charged and it is rotating means it has the centripetal acceleration. So then electron must emit some kind of energy. But in that case, electron have to fall into the nucleus. But that does not occur. Why? So the scientists explain that there are principal quantum numbers and there are specific orbits where the electron does not radiate any kind of energy. So my question was that electron is not radiating energy, that's fine, but from where the electron got the initial energy? Like if I give you 100 rupees, am I audible, Prabhu? I think someone is not
Carry on.
muted. Okay. So if I give you 100 rupees and you do not spend the money, you have 100 rupees with you. Similarly, the electron has got some energy and it is not dissipating that energy. So electron is moving continuously. But who gave the electron the initial energy? So here science cannot explain. So then, but here we can see from the Brahma Samhita. In Brahma Samhita, there is a verse, Ekopyasau rachitum jagadanda kotim jachaktirasti jagadanda chayaya dantaha andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So in every atom and interatomic Kushai Vishnu. So Vishnu is providing the energy. So this is the complete explanation. So in every part of the universe, Shridakushai Vishnu is present. That is why Vishnu is called all pervading, or it is told God is all pervading. So this is how God is all pervading or omnipresent. So nothing can run without the help of Vishnu. This is how Mahavishnu created the universe. Garbhodakusai Vishnu created the 14 planetary systems with the help of Brahma, or he actually provided the ingredients and knowledge, and Brahma as an instrument created the 14 planetary systems. And then as Shirodakusai Vishnu, he is present in each and every atom and in the interatomic spaces also. This is how Shirodokosai Vishnu is running the whole world. And Durga Devi is there. Living entities have come into this material world to enjoy. Durga Devi is here to punish them and to make them realize that this is not for you. Go back to the spiritual world. So if you chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, be you can get out of this material universe and you can actually go back to the spiritual world. So if you see here, so this Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take you back to the Goloka Vrindavan. So this is that is devotional service to get out of this material world. So now this material world is what? In conclusion, this is the prison house for the rebellious souls who desire to enjoy independently. So now let us analyze another very important topic, that is the inverted tree. The material world is sometimes told as the inverted tree. Why is it so? In Bhagavad Gita 15.1, Krishna is telling, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhamula Madashakham Ashwatham Prahurabhyayam Chandam Si Yasha Parnani Yastam Veda Shavedavit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree and that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. So the material world is compared to an inverted tree whose roots are upward and whose branches and leaves are downwards. So why is it so? Why this analogy is there? So like if there is a pond and there is a tree on the bank of the pond, so there is a inverted reflection of the tree in the water of the pond. Now, why that is applicable for material world? Whatever activities are in spiritual world, that is actually in material world also, but the consciousness is 180-degree opposite. Like in the material world, everyone is looking for his own happiness, and for his own happiness he is ready to exploit others. But in the spiritual world, the consciousness is how to serve others. Everyone is trying to satisfy Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, Atmendriya pritivancha tare bolikam, Krishnendriya priti ichha dhari premanam. If one is trying to satisfy his own senses, then that is called kam or lust. But if one is trying to satisfy the sense of Krishna, then that is called prem or love. So the so-called love we see in this material world is nothing but lust. Everyone is practically, they are only interested about their own happiness. So in the relationships also we can see in this material world that why the relationships are breaking like anything. Everybody is trying to exploit others for their own happiness. Till the time one is getting benefit from the other person, the relationship is maintained. And when the other person is not able to give you something, the relationship is broken there. So this is the mentality in the spiritual world. So the so-called love we see in this material world is actually exploitative, and there is no selflessness. And without selflessness, there is no question of love. So that is why the spiritual world and in the material world, the consciousness is 180-degree opposite, although the activities are the same. That is why it is compared to an inverted tree. So when we transform our consciousness from how can I enjoy myself, from how can I give enjoyment to Krishna, then we become eligible to enter into the spiritual world. So that is why the material world is called the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. This is reflection of the spiritual world, but perverted. The love in the spiritual world has become lust here. So this is perverted. So now, what is the way out? How can we get out of this material world? Right? So we know this material world is a prison house. So prison house is called as Sangshodhanagar. So Sangshodhan means rectification. So this material world is created for the rebellious souls to rectify them. They have come into the material world for enjoying independent from Krishna. And the material nature or Durga Devi is causing them various kind of punishment by Adi Atmic Klesh, Adi Bhautik Klesh and Adi Daivik Klesh, and making them understand that please you rectify yourself. You transform your consciousness from how to enjoy myself to how to give satisfaction to Krishna, how to serve Krishna. So when we get this consciousness that I am servant of Krishna, then at once we are free from the clutches of the material world, and actually we can go back to the spiritual world. So this is a prison house, and the experience in prison house is really bad. Krishna is also telling us that Mamupitya Punarjanma Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam Napnuvanti Mahatmana Samsiddhim Paramam Gata. So this material world is called Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So like you get ample quantity of books in Granthalay or library. You get ample quantity of ice or in Himalay. So this is Sanskrit word. Alay means the home, or alay means collection. So Himalay means there is a lot of him or ice. Granthalay means lot of grantha or books. So similarly, Dukkhalay means in this material world there is a lot of distress and there is a lot of miseries. So nobody wants to stay in such a place where there is a lot of misery. So Lord is inviting us actually, please follow my instructions, and then Lord's instructions are actually the user manuals because Lord is the creator. So when he is telling in Bhagavad Gita, so this is like user manual. I have created this product called material world. And what is the nature of the material world? Dukkhalayam asasvatam, it is full of misery. How can you get out of it? Mam chaya vyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Only by the execution of devotional service you can come out of these material sufferings. So therefore we must accept the scriptures because Lord is the Lord is the creator and he is advising that how to stay in this material world. So if we reject the scriptures, we will suffer vigorously because we have not created this material world. So that is why we foolishly think that we can be happy in this material world. But Lord is telling this is Dukkhalayam Asaswatam. I am the creator. I am the creator of this material world and I am telling that this is Dukkhalayam. So then how can we be happy? So this is foolishness if we try to become happy in this material world. Therefore, we have to accept the instruction of the Lord, then only we can come out of the material world. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 8th canto it is explained, Kalena panchattam iteshu kritsnasho lokeshu palesu cha sarva hetusu tamastadashit gahanam gaviram jastasya pare vivirajate vibhu. In the due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestations of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated, there is a situation of dense darkness. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of his lotus feet. So as I told you earlier, so Mahavishnu is creating all these bubbles. These are actually material universes. And all these bubbles or material universes are lasting for 311 trillion years for the exhalation of Mahavishnu. When Mahavishnu inhales, all these material universes enter into his body. So that is why this material universes has a periodic creation and destruction. When Mahavishnu exhales, the material creation is made. When Mahavishnu inhales, everything is destroyed. So that is why in this verse, Gajendra is telling, praying to the Supreme Lord, that there is a time, in due course of time, when all the causative and effective manifestation of the universe, including the planets and their directors and maintainers, are annihilated. So when Mahavishnu is inhaling, all these things are annihilated. But there is a situation of dense darkness. Then there is dense darkness. There is nothing. Only Mahavishnu is there. No material universe. Above this darkness, however, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I take shelter of his lotus feet. So the position of Vishnu or Krishna is eternal, but these material universes, they manifest periodically. And when they manifest, the Mahavishnu actually puts the jivas into the different material universes. When the material universes manifested, the jivas actually try to enjoy there. But when it is annihilated, all the living entities along with the material universes enter into the body of Mahavishnu. But Vishnu is always present. He is eternal. And the material universes have periodic creation and destruction. Now, if we try to get out of this material world, then what can we do? So like imagine if you are actually you fell down in a deep dark well. So then how can you get out from this well? You have to take help of such a person who is outside the well, and then he can offer you some kind of ropes and you can get out of the well. But can you take help from a person who is similar to you and he is also inside the well? No. No person who is inside the well can help you. Only a person who is outside the well can help you. So similarly, no one inside this material universe can help you to get out of this material world. But Vishnu, who is outside this, and who is the origin of all the material creation, and who exists even when the material creation is annihilated, he can help you. So that is why Gajendra is telling that I take shelter of his lotus feet. So actually taking shelter of his lotus feet means to follow his instructions, whatever Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. So that will be the topic of our next discussion, that what Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, what is the science of devotional service, what we need to do. Till now we discussed that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Then we discussed about the importance of scriptures. Then we discussed about Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We discussed about Krishna, who is Krishna and who is Vishnu. Then we discussed about the personal form of Krishna. And now we have also discussed the abode of Krishna and where we are. So now after all this understanding, we understand that we are in a very precarious condition and we are suffering in this material world. So now usually our intelligent living entity would like to get out of the material world, and for that he has to take the shelter of Lord's lotus feet. And taking shelter of Lord's lotus feet means to follow his instructions. So now what are the instructions of the Supreme Lord, that we will take in the next session. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. If you have any questions, you can ask.